What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Keep It 1K, and a huge move is coming, right? Yes, a huge move is coming, in my opinion, and I do think it's going to happen next week. First things first, let's go ahead and explain why I think a huge move is coming. If you don't know, we have PPI next week and we have CPI. If you don't know what that is, I would definitely look it up. I don't want to complicate it, but it is a huge catalyst. It is important data that could move the market, and I'm going to explain why. I'm going to show y'all what has happened in the past and pretty much what I think is going to happen and why. Right? So, first things first, let's go ahead and look at SPY. As you can see, as you're looking at my SPY chart, you can see that we've been in this downtrend from 431 all the way down to 362. This is a huge level. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the dailies. That way y'all can see why this is a huge level, right? So before I zoom out, you can see we bounced right here. We had a nice bullish candle on the daily, and look what happened. We got that push from 362 all the way to 431, like I said, right? We just tested that 362 level again. We actually broke it, testing around 356, and buyers immediately pumped it all the way back up to 380, right? Like I said, we're respecting this trend line, and look what happened. We came right back down. So honestly, in my opinion, that is bearish, right? Like I said, we've been respecting this trend line. You can see if I was to go to the 15-minute, they kind of faked the bulls out and dropped it all the way right back down, right? So that, in my opinion, that was a huge liquidity grab. People could have possibly been bullish, try to get calls, and they dropped it. Honestly, we did have some market news, some data that came out today, so that is why it dropped the way it dropped today, right? You can see we were at 379, almost 380, and a day later, here we are again testing 362. So I'm going to go ahead and go right back to the daily chart and explain why I think that this move is coming and why I think that it's going to come pretty soon, right? Honestly, in my opinion, I don't expect to see 340 next week. Anything can happen. Obviously, we could break this downtrend and pump right back up, or we can break this heavy support level at 362, 360, and possibly keep dropping, right? Like I said, we've been respecting this trend line, and eventually we're going to make a move, right? Whether it's to the upside or to the downside. So let's go ahead and look at this 360, 362 level, right? Huge level, right? You can see we bounced here, and here we are again here. Now you might ask, okay, why is this a huge level? It's support and resistance, right? You can see that we got the bounce here we are again. And at the time, this used to be resistant. We rejected up here all the way back in 2020. We came, tested, rejected, and eventually we turned this resistance into support. But let me go ahead and show you why this 362, 360 level is huge, in my opinion, right? So look at what would happen after we came down from that 360 level. Look at where we would target, 340, right? Sounds crazy, right? It sounds really crazy. But I look at what happened, right? We go from this resistance level, tap 360, 340, right? My bad, I'm sorry. But this is a huge level, right? We're sitting right at this level. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get into the previous why I mentioned CPI, PPI, and I forgot to mention we also have FOMC minutes next week on Tuesday. So I mean, we have a lot of stuff lined up for next week, right? We also do have some bank earnings going into next week. I believe they're on Thursday and Friday. So next week is going to be a huge week. So I'm going to go ahead and come to my second SPY chart, and I'm going to show y'all some recent CPIs and PPIs, right? I want to go ahead and show y'all the last CPI and PPI, right? 9/13. Look at what happened. We got this huge pump. Like I said, it could have been a liquidity grab, and we came right back down, right? So 9/13 CPI, PPI, it wasn't on the same day. They're two completely different days. We dropped about $20, right? We dropped from this 412 level all the way to 391. Obviously, we kept dropping. I'm showing y'all pretty much those 2 days, right? So that alone can show you, okay, this data, this market data that is going to be coming out, this is serious. It really is serious, right? So I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. I want to go ahead and clear them as we go. That way it's not too messy. So let's go ahead and look at August CPI and PPI, right? It kind of slowed down. We ended up going from 410 all the way to that 431 level. Like I said, that wasn't within CPI and PPI. That was probably maybe a day or two after. But along with CPI and PPI, we did move about 15, right? So as you can see, the first one was we made a $20 move, and the one before that, we just made a $15 move. So like I said, that goes to show you that, okay, this data is serious. Let's go ahead and look at the one before, $18 move, right? You can go ahead and look this up. You can go on Google, you can go on wherever you find your news at, and you can look at when we had CPI and PPI. So that was an $18 move back in July, right? So let's go ahead and look at June. June, same thing, $20 move, right? So I personally do think that there's a huge move coming, and I think that CPI and PPI is going to do it, right? Like I said, we've been respecting this trend line, right? I'm going to go ahead and go back. We've been respecting this trend line, and now we are on a huge support level, right? This 360, 362 level is huge. Now, my prediction, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all my prediction. I personally do think that we break this, right? That is honestly my thoughts, and that is what I think is going to happen. I think we break this and target 340. I don't want to say when. I don't want to say a month. I personally do think that we're going to see 340. Now, we could break this downtrend. Maybe something happens. Maybe we end up breaking out before breaking this. And we could obviously start pushing, maybe get a little bounce. Like I said, anything could happen. I'm just kind of going based off how I feel, how the economy is, and stuff like that, right? So anything could happen. We can break out, maybe see a short-term pop, breaking out, get a little pop, and then maybe break it, right? Or we can just snap this going into next week or whenever it happens. You know what I mean? So let me go ahead and show y'all one more thing. If you don't know what VIX is, it's pretty much, I don't want to make it too complicated. It's pretty much the opposite of SPY, right? So if SPY is dumping, you can see that VIX is pumping. If SPY is coming down, or if SPY is going up, you can see VIX starts to come down. If I saw this chart without knowing what it was, I personally would be like, okay, this might break out, right? Why? Like, honestly, there is no reason for me to be like, I'm bearish unless we snap this trend line. You can see all the way up. We've been just honestly respecting this trend line since August, right? Back when that 431 top hit, right? When we hit that 431 level on SPY. You can see that we've been respecting this trend line all the way from 19 all the way to 35. We got that breakout and we came back down. But look at where we bounced at. We bounced off that trend line. So this trend line is in play. We could see a move pretty soon. We could see this break to the downside, or we could see this possibly breaking out, getting the retest, and keep going. Like I said, this is just my prediction, and I'm kind of just going based off what could happen and how I possibly might play it. Before I end this video, I do want to show you one more thing that I've noticed before CPI and PPI plays out, right? So first things first, let's go ahead and draw out this range that we've been respecting, right? Previously, we've been tapping 370, coming down to 360, and we've been going back and forth, right? If you don't know what that is, we're pretty much consolidating right now, right? We are in a consolidation phase, and that usually happens before a larger move is coming. Right, so you can see we've been respecting this little range that we've been in. We finally broke out, and look what happened. We came right back down, testing that 360.97 level, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all this, and then I'm going to show y'all why I'm showing y'all this, right? So you can see that we've been respecting this range, and it's holding up, right? So let's go ahead and clear out these levels. Let's go ahead and go back to September CPI, right? I showed y'all before, it was around this area right here, right? Let's go ahead and show y'all another thing that I've noticed, right? Look at what's going on right here, right? Same thing. Look at how we're respecting 401 almost to 390, right? We're in a little consolidation phase. We're back and forth, up, down, up, down. We got the breakout. Look what happened. Came back down, tested that support level, and we ended up breaking this range to the downside. Right, we went from 390 all the way down to 363. Now, what did I just show y'all over here? Let's go ahead and draw this range, right? Let's go ahead and draw this range, right? So, like I said, we're respecting this range. We got the breakout, and look where we're at right now. I'm not saying, oh, that's definitely going to play out just because this broke out. My point is we are in a range right now, right? They're not moving us from the same little area that we are in right now, right before CPI and PPI. And in my opinion, the reason they don't do that is because they don't want us to obviously if it's bad, they don't want us to obviously just straight knife, right? That probably won't happen unless something is like really, really bad. But it's just something that I noticed. We were in a range right here, and once we broke that range, we dropped pretty hard, right? Now, once again, we're in a range. We broke out, came right back down into this range, and we're sitting right here as of right now, right? So let's go ahead. My point is right here is that right before CPI and PPI, look at what happened. We were in a range. Here we are again. We're in a range. So let's go ahead and clear this out. Let's go ahead and go to August CPI. I believe it was around, right? It was, where is it? It's right here, right? Same thing, right? Look at this range. From July 29th all the way to August 8th, we are in a range right before CPI and PPI, right? We were consolidating once again right before a big move. So what I'm saying is, like I said, we consolidate. Most of the time we do consolidate before seeing a larger move. As you can see, we had the range here that I just showed y'all. We had the range over here that I showed you. And once again, right before CPI and PPI, we were in a range, right? So like I said, I personally do think a huge move is coming. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. And let's go to one more CPI back in June, right? One more thing. I'm more sure you are spotting it right before I say it. Another range, right? Before a heavy move, whether it's to the upside, whether it's to the downside. Obviously, we got it to the downside. But once again, we were consolidating from the 27th of May all the way to June 9th. Another range. So the point of this video is I think a large move is coming. I showed y'all why I think a large move is coming. Those are my thoughts. That is my opinion of what's to come going into next week. I'm bearish just because of what's going on. If we do see upside, obviously I'm going to play it. But hopefully y'all are paying attention and maybe learning something from this video. That is the goal. I do want y'all to learn based off of what I kind of pay attention to and stuff like that. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure that like button. If you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want to see any other content, make sure that y'all leave it in the comments below. And yeah, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and see how this plays out next week. And it's been your boy, Keep It 1K, and I'm out.